everyone, to God Stories Radio, Session 11. I'm Fritz.
I'm Mike.
Mike has got some things on his heart tonight that he's going to bring to you, and I just have been seeing it bubble up in him over the last few days, and I can't wait for him to just take over the mic. And I'm not going to talk too much tonight. I'm just going to let him have it. Tell us how your week was, Mike.
This week was a great week, and again, we're going to bounce back to the following week where I believe God has been had talked to me almost every day during the week, and as I put it to my men's group on Monday night at Real Men, I don't know if I always, when I pray to God, I tell Him that I've got listening for Him. I got my eyes and my ears open, listening to what He has to say and everything else. And to go as a while as it is, and then all of a sudden, almost every day in the week there was something there, and I don't know, it was I really listening or was I not? And I don't know, to the changes that happen, and that's what's in this little session we're going to have.
So this was kind of a confirmation from God that you were listening, or that He was speaking to you?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because almost every day He spoke to me, and I believe that was it. And I always said, I got my eyes, my ears open for you and listening, and to have it happen every day this particular week, and it just, I ask myself, did I actually have my ears and my eyes open and listening?
I'm not really surprised, considering this particular week marks a special event in your life.
Well, today is actually the day. It's 7 years today when my Joseph calling began, I believe. This goes back to the starting of Sunday on July 21st, where it just, I got this spoken to on this day, and then the next day comes, and the next day comes, and I'm, whoa, what's going on here, And by the end of the week, I was wowed. I'm going to start with what happened on July 1st of this year, just only a few weeks ago. God had moved me from a friend of mine, a brother and a friend in Christ, Todd, and I was there for 19 months. And it was going pretty good there, and in the meantime, he had found his wife and married, and so I was actually there by myself. And just all I had to do was pay the electric and the water and the internet, and it was going pretty good. Of course I was alone, but it was going pretty good. And then, I got this word from God to move to another gentleman's place that I knew, and there was an opening there, so certainly that wasn't a coincidence. But now I'm going from paying just those few little things to actually paying rent. And then I would say a week or so later, where I work, they cut my hours. And it's a part-time job that I have, pretty much, that God opened the door for. And the hours that they were giving me, I was living on it, but barely. And then, the move that they made just put a big damper on it.
So you kind of went from a non-paying situation to full-time to part-time and a paying.
No, I was part-time, but the job that I had in the place was kind of guaranteed what I was doing, 35 hours.
Oh, so you could kind of budget that.
Right. And then their move brought it down to, and it's continually decreasing little by little, but, it went down to 32 right off the bat. And, you add that up, that's $30 a week, and it's $120 a month, and that's, in my situation, that's huge.
That's a lot of groceries.
Yes, it is. And I started to think, why on that? Why would you? And then I also started to think, if this had happened, the job situation happened before the move situation, maybe wouldn't have done it. I don't know. We won't know now. But I'm here. So, I'm there. So
sometimes we tend to be more in tune to God's knock.
Yeah.
When we're
well, I was, but again, if the other incident happened first, maybe that's why He had me move first. Correct. Is what I'm thinking.
I think that's what I was kind of agreeing with you. Yeah,
he had me move first, and then the incident, and then okay, so I've already made the decision, so can't go back on it. So anyway, on July 21st, it was a Sunday. And I just want to back up where this comes from. I get 2 devotionals. I have been getting 2 devotionals, one for 6.5 years plus and one for 5.5 years plus. About 2 weeks before 2013 started, a friend in the church where we go had a major surgery done, and I happened to be in a situation, I guess, at the right place at the right time, and the guy that usually would have done this, hands down, would have been asked and would have done it, wasn't in town. So they asked me, and I could help this person out by fixing something after he got back from the hospital. So I went over and I did that. And as I'm there, and we started talking, I started to give my little bit of my testimony, and then next thing you know, they're offering me dinner, and then as I'm leaving, Pete McCabe and Jeanette McCabe, she actually, as I'm walking out the door, gave me her copy of a 365-day devotional called Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, and it was nice of her. And again, the way I look at it is just another book that God had given me. And
it's kind of been how God has spoken to you over the years.
Absolutely, because I was not a reader.
You seem to get handed books anytime he's dealing with you about
that's
something.
Right. And on this particular day, and this is out of this book, The Jesus Calling, on Sunday, July 21st, it says, "Rest in my presence when you need refreshment. Resting is not necessarily idleness as people often perceive it. When you relax in my company, you are demonstrating trust in me. Trust is a rich word, laden with meaning and direction for your life. I want you to lean on, trust, and be confident in me. When you lean on me for support, I delight in your trusting confidence. Many people turn away from me when they are exhausted. They associate me with duty and diligence, so they try to hide from my presence when they need a break from work. How this saddens me. As I spoke through my prophet Isaiah, in returning to me and resting in me, you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength." And in the verse that comes with this is a couple verses, but in the verse that comes with this, if you have listened to my testimony on session 3, the very first verse that God had given me was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And this one has Proverbs 3. And it's from the AMP, but I have remembered from the NLT version, actually, on this one. And it's, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek Him in all that you do, and He will direct your paths." So again, that's part of my testimony. That was the first verse that was basically thrown at me. And I just said, wow. So that was Sunday morning, actually, because the first thing I do when I get up is I pull that book out and look for the day and read from it. Then after, later on in the day when I would come back from church service, I would start up my computer and look on my email, and I get the TGIF, Today God is First devotional I've been getting for 6.5 years from Oz Hillman. And again, from my testimony, Oz Hillman's book, which I believe literally saved my life physically and spiritually. But I started to get his devotionals every day since then.
That was Upside to Adversity is what you were referring
Correct.
to, right?
Oz's book, Upside to Adversity. The title of this one here, especially with I just mentioned, just happened at work and everything else. The title is Gaining Direction Through a Lack of Provision. And the verse that is used here, "You will drink from the brook, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you there." And it's from 1 Kings 17, verse 4. And it says, "The prophet Elijah pronounced a drought upon the land because of the sin of Ahab and the nation of Israel." There was only one problem. Elijah had to live in the same land as Ahab. And it goes on with the verse from 1 Kings 17, 1 through 4. And then Oz goes on, "God provided for Elijah a supernatural way. The ravens brought bread in the morning and meat in the evening. His water came from the brook. God often uses money to confirm direction for our lives. Many times God uses lack of provision to move us into new directions. It is a catalyst to encourage new ideas and strategies. Many times a loss of job becomes the greatest blessing to our lives because it provides the catalyst to do things we simply would never do without taking the step to get out of that comfort zone. Friend, if you are fully following the Lord in your life and seeking direction from Him, and you have no unconfessed sin in your life, there is no way He will allow you to miss His provision for you. He has 1,000 ways to get the provision you need at the time you need it. Provision follows obedience. And that was the devotional that came on Sunday, July 21st. And again, speaking to me, wondering what's going on at work with the loss of income to a certain extent, and I knew all this stuff because I've been reading that book over and over, but it just came at the right time.
Yeah, and getting back to what you said about the loss of income, it seemed like God just strategically moved those pieces around so that you had to focus on Him.
Oh, absolutely.
Because sometimes when He removes those things that become normal in our life, then we have to refocus, and that's when He can speak to us.
Right.
That's amazing.
It is. All right, and now I'm going to go to, this would be for July 22nd, and I'm going to go to, actually July 23rd, and I'm going to back up to a boot camp that I went to on October 4th of last year, the Wild at Heart Boot Camp by John Eldredge. When you go there for this 4-day weekend, Thursday through Sunday, you watch a little bit of each session of what John Eldredge goes through in his book and what he says, and then at the end of each session, they send you out to a particular place where you yourself want to go by yourself, and they actually order all silence and so on and so forth, and you just go out there and talk with God. So number one, the first question on this paper was, God, you alone can tell me who I am. Who am I? And question number two was, what do you think of me? And as I'm sitting there pondering on these and meditating on these questions, the next thing I see is a beautiful butterfly just land at my feet. I keep a journal, and this is the entrance that I have on this day in the journal on 10/4 of 2012. This day is the beginning of the Wild at Heart Boot Camp weekend, my second time. As Friday morning session is done, and we are sent out to a quiet place to talk and ask God the questions at hand, I have chosen the same spot as last year's boot camp down by the lake. The bench from last year is gone, but I happen to have my fold-out chair in my car, God's car. As I am pondering and asking these questions with God, a beautiful butterfly lands only a foot or so from my feet. I say, look at that beautiful butterfly, one of your creations. Then I think of what that butterfly had to go through to become what it is. Then these words rang out in my mind. You are soon to be like that beautiful butterfly. Wow. Now I am in tears as I talk with my Father for the next minutes, thanking Him for those encouraging words and what He has been doing in my life. This will help lead into what happened on July 23rd with, actually now I'm going to come up with the second devotional that I get, a book that was given to me by God 5.5 years ago by Joel Osteen, Your Best Life Now. Now I've been getting Oz's for 6.5, and now Joel's for 5.5. For that